Come on, hit that bass. HFR, Market Vitals, Miss Trade, Matt Davio. Good morning, Matt. Happy first of all, happy Canadian Thanksgiving, along with Columbus Day and Indigenous Day. I believe they're trying to jump on Columbus, jump off Columbus. I don't know. Was Columbus white, by the way? Was he a Caucasian?
He was Italian, so might have had some Egyptian blood in him.
He might have. We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah. Matt, there's a whole lot going on.
23andMe. Send
There's
that.
a whole lot going on.
I'm sure he had COVID. I'm sure he died of COVID.
Let me tell you something, Matt. It was a great sporting weekend, was it not?
I liked it. It worked out for me.
We're gonna get to the college football and the NFL football. I need to have a few rights here, Matt. Give me some rights to share. Anyway, stock market overnight, the machine was turned on, rallied. We're selling off a little bit as we speak here. And we're going to cover some stocks and some bonds and some real estate and portfolios. And we do it all here at marketvitals.io. We do it all.
We do it all.
All right, here we go, Matt. Let me share.
Please do.
And this is Tyson Fury's intro for the heavyweight championship of the world. And Matt, when his Deontay Wilder, when his intro was, remember back in the day, the main event, they get to choose their music, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, now they've taken up a whole nother level. It's like Dancing with the Stars. It's like you get to choreograph your entrance. Like, I wonder what that guy may or gal that's doing the choreography. What are they getting paid? Because Deontay Wilder, he had a rap, instead of just a rap song playing, he had the actual rapper singing right next to him the whole way in. It was awesome. But then this happened, and this is just the very end of it. It's just the very end of it. After the Egyptian guy was dancing, Tyson Fury is in full Roman Legion regalia.
Oh my God. What's up with the drummers? With the masks?
Man, this guy dancing, like, that's what I'm telling you, man. And then he came into Back in Black.
Looks like a Madonna show to me.
Dude. I can't
Where's
escape
Madonna?
it now.
Where's Lords?
Stop.
Where's Lords? Where is she?
Stop. I don't know, Matt.
But you said it was a brawl. I did not catch it.
It was a brawl, and it was the exact reason why MMA is so much safer than boxing, because both of these guys got canvassed, suffered concussions, and had CTE. And they give them time to try to get their shit back together so they can go in and the fight can go on and they can get more punishment. I mean, by the end of this, I don't know what Deontay Wilder's condition is today, 2 days post, but man, did he take a beating.
Kind of like the quarterback for the Giants yesterday. Did you see him?
I did not.
Yeah. Go look that one up. Back in the old days, they would have smelling salts him and put him back in one play later. But he got tackled on a running play. The quarterback, I can't think of his name because the Giants suck anyways. And
the Giants and the Jets, dude. Oh my God.
Well, they're
ridiculous.
They're right up there with my Lions, which we will talk about also.
Yeah, let's talk about it right now. And then we'll go back to college. Because Matt, you've been on fire on the college betting scene. On fire.
Yeah,
and great analysis too, especially the Michigan State and Ohio State analysis. But first, let's just even a Bear fan, I could care a Lions Vikings game, right? I could give a shit, right? As a Bear fan. But this was so heartbreaking. And we talked about it last week about how this was a great money line bet. And
I took it. And I had the lead with 30 seconds to go in the game.
Unbelievable. Great go for two. Fuck this. We're not going to play for the, just let's do this. Let's win it. And they complete a great 2-point conversion and then they lose. And then the coach is he's devastated.
Yeah.
And the old line, Matt, there's no crying in baseball. Come on. Men can cry and it's okay.
Yeah.
And then it's not okay. It depends on the circumstances. That's all I'm saying. And this was heartfelt, man. And I got to tell you, going forward, maybe these Lions are something. I mean, they really fought hard.
Well, and so here's some information for you. They lost 19-17 by I think again it was another 54-yard field goal. Week 3, they lost to the Ravens. By the way, I'm going to come back. I don't know if you remember this. Remember 1971 when Detroit lost to Tom Dempsey at the time, the longest. Yes. The final score of that game, by the way, 19-17. The final score of 3 weeks ago in the last second field goal, and that was like a 66-yarder that the Ravens hit. It was another record. Was 19-17, and guess what? Here we are again. Third time, 19-17. The Lions.
It's impossible.
It's I can't make this up. And Detroit became the second team to lose 2 games by a last-second field goal in one season that is over 50 yards, and they've done that in just 5 weeks of play.
All right, enough of the go Bears.
I did have the money. I did have the money line, and I did take. I told you to do the anytime you got double-digit favorites. Take.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Matt Davio's double-digit favorite. Always take the favorite in the NFL.
Except when playing the Vikings, because the Vikings can't beat anybody badly. So, like, they were favored by 10. So hey,
listen, and that's important because every trading system has an asterisk.
That's right.
And every betting system has an asterisk. You're just telling me your asterisk is the 10-point favorite if it's the Vikings lay off the bet.
Yes. Now, I did win on Saturday the parlay that I took, a 3-team parlay of Ohio State, Michigan State, and Michigan. I went all Big Ten in that parlay.
And it was a dicey Michigan victory.
Well, they covered by a half a point, and they won by 3. So I don't really care what you say, Bob.
I understand that, but I think that that was heartfelt to put that. I'm just telling you that was heartfelt on your point to put Michigan in that parlay because your analysis of the other 2 games was spot on.
Yeah,
the other teams aren't that good, and especially in the setup of the NCAA, these teams got to blow teams out.
Yeah,
right, to get the attention of the committee.
After you get a loss like Ohio State did, and then Michigan State also, I mean, they're struggling. They're 6-0, and they're getting even less respect than Big Brother. So I'm not looking forward to that battle in East Lansing in 3 weeks because it's going to be a tough game for Michigan. It's going to be a really tough game, and especially if they played like they did yesterday or Saturday. Iowa also snuck by. Now they're the number 2 team. I like that game. I did not bet it. They covered also. It was ugly, just like Michigan's. But
when Penn State lost their quarterback, dude, it was.
But more importantly,
not the same team.
More importantly, how does Alabama lose at Texas A&M? It already had 2 losses.
Well, so they're how are they still number 5? Get out of here.
Because they're Alabama, and they're going to play because they're going to play Georgia at least in the SEC final. So they're going to win, and they'll be back in the championship game. Saban knows how to lose and when to lose.
Right on. All right, Matt. It was my birthday on Friday, and I said no talk of COVID. We had $200 into the jars because we said it twice. But let's just hold on a second. I saw this from the Epic Times, Matt, and I was like, what in God's name is going on? And again, I don't know what to believe because this is older footage, but they say they're doing this again, ramping up building. They're calling them quarantine facilities. And the numbers that I read in this article were like they're building up to 80,000 people occupancy for quarantining. I don't know what to make of it, man. I got to tell you, for another COVID outbreak, I thought only 3,000 people died in China, and they vaxxed everybody, and they're at herd immunity. There's so much going on geopolitically, and not only that, just inside of that country with all the floods. And I saw that tack today, how the floods have affected the coal production. That's one of the reasons why they're having electricity shortages, because they can't even mine the coal in order to run
the generators.
Generators. It's just so much going on here, but 80,000 quarantine facility units. Now, that sounds to me more like maybe those are going to be civil unrest quarantine rather than COVID quarantine. I don't know. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard similar stories that these exist in Australia and they also exist in Canada. I've even heard rumblings that they exist in remote parts of the United States. So I don't know what to believe. I've never visited them, but I've heard it, seen pictures, both stateside, Canada, now China, and I know that I don't know about. It's
and it's a different. Remember when COVID first hit in China?
Yeah.
And they built the hospital, they called it a hospital.
Yeah.
Right? A hospital. They said it was a hospital for you to get over it. Now it's and this is what gets me. It's a centralized quarantine facility. So it's a COVID quarantine facility. All I'm saying is it's really easy to take that word COVID out, right? And it's a civil disobedient quarantine facility.
Right.
I don't know, man. There's so much going on there that it's crazy. All right, we need to talk price discovery about something. And this goes, wait a second. Before I do this, let me share one other thing. We're going to talk about Kellogg's. Right. But first, I wanted to bring in Chevy Chase and his new holiday T-shirt. And it says it's beginning to look a lot like "fuck you." And we are seeing this among so many things here, right? We're going to talk about Southwest. Their supposed non-coordinated walkout as a vaccine mandate is being purported by Southwest. And then any other labor thing. We talked about it a week ago or 2 weeks ago when General Dynamics put their one out and 40% of their workforce said, yeah, fuck you. We're not coming. And they had to retract it. And so, and going forward, Matt, the way the dynamic of our demographic is, labor is going to have way more power than they have had in generations, right? Because there's just not enough people to fill jobs. So you got shortages already.
Yeah, there's plenty of people, but the problem was we create our own administration guaranteed this problem would happen by giving benefits for the last, year and a half nonstop. So nobody had to work. The people that don't make any money made more when they were not working. So obviously they don't have to work. So then you add that to the fact that, they're sucking on the teat of the narrative. And you got a bunch of ships that are stuck out there. That seems coordinated to me, even like, oh yeah, we don't have enough people come. I mean, those longshoreman jobs are good jobs. So you can't tell me people don't want those. It's just, it's the ship, it's everything. There's not enough parts, pieces, widgets to get on the boats. And then when the boats get there, there's not enough truckers. There's not enough, then gasoline's it's the shortage in Europe is affecting rolling over to here. And again, people don't realize that it's all related. It's all intertwined, even though we may not have the same problems yet. They're coming here. And I don't know about you, but you go into these grocery stores, there's shit empty, like major parts of aisles that are just vacant.
Yeah. How about it?
Vacant.
All right, Matt, do we have a Kellogg's chart we could look at and actually talk about what you would do as a trader? I know you're not involved in it, but I love these type of discussions on ones that neither one of us have a position in.
Yeah, to me, it's just, Kellogg's has been chopping around here. We're looking at a month or so. This is going back to late August, so a couple months. It's range bound. It's really not doing anything. It's up 6 cents today. Nothing really happening there. Again, Southwest, they're doing these rolling, walkouts, whatever you want, fake sickness, whatever you want to call it. And but that's real, And then the other thing is, if you forgot that last week, mandates came out of the Biden administration that by December 8th, everybody's got to be vaccinated. Yet, where does that executive order reside? Nobody can find it. There's no written word of such mandates on OSHA regulating anything. Like, there's nothing out there, Bob. So again, I don't know what to make of it, all of it, but it's a strange world. American Airlines, same thing. They were, some of their people were, walking off the job too. They canceled flights yesterday, not in the same number, but this will start picking up. And I think what's going to happen is you're going to see ultimately a shutdown in air travel, probably between now and Christmas. That's what it feels.
Can you fractal out on either one of those, American and Southwest, and or Southwest, and give us a much longer term time frame?
Sure. here's American. Since here's the COVID bottom. When it got down to $7-8, went to 26. We're trading at 20. That's American Airlines, and then
wait a second, because that it really looked like it wanted to make another leg higher, and now it's trapped back into that longer term volume profile.
Well, yeah, you mean if it got above 20, wherever this was in the spring, 26. Double topped again in June. So that's American Airlines. Really nothing to me. It's again, I don't want to trade it. It's just a piece of garbage anyways. I hate the airline.
Well, and what Matt is really saying is there's a lot more volatility and potential in other issues.
Correct.
Other than these two airlines.
Now, Love or Southwest had a bigger return, but it's this, and believe it or not, Southwest is 2.5 times now bigger than American Airlines, which is staggering to me. But at least as far as market cap, they're 31 billion, and American Airlines was 13 billion. As I just looked at it, this one looks a little bit better, but again, we rallied all the way up here to we got up to the 60s, also in April, June. And now, went down to 46. So that's a significant sell-off. I mean, you're talking $18, which is 30% from the high already. And now we're sitting still 20% from the high. Bear market action is what I call this. The interesting thing, reading, some of Alex Berenson's stuff over the weekend, and, what you're seeing right now, and he talked about this in the article. Think about all the PPP money that all these companies took. Think about these fake mandates and these EOs that don't exist. Like, companies don't know what to do. And they've also been given all this PPP money, right? They said that Southwest got 25 billion in PPP, which obviously is and then they got another 25 billion in loans from the government. So their hands are tied. Follow the money always. And we talk about this all the time. So when you have that type of thing going on, it's not indicative of positivity that's going to come out of this, because you got management basically fighting the employees who make the company run, and management's hands are tied because they took this free money supposedly, but now they're being held to the fire because it's not free.
It very rarely is free. It very rarely is no attachments required or thought.
So it's very complicated. It's not simple. It's not going to be
what is pretty simple is that none of these big companies can operate if they lose 20% of their employees.
Yeah, let alone 40, let alone 80. And that is the continuous story that we continue to, drive home here. I couldn't agree more, Bob. I mean, it's very, but it's tenuous, and it's not going to right itself. I mean, this is it's a potential Titanic. I mean, what are we going to nationalize all the airlines after this one when they all go down? I mean, if they can't afford to shut these guys down. And if something like that happens, I mean, it's just.
Well, none of it can be good for the market. Let's just say that for sure.
None of it. I mean, none of that can be good for the market. And like I said, it's complicated. I also don't want to go whole hog short on, any of these airlines, because who knows? I mean, again, I don't know what's going on in these meetings. It's really difficult to understand what's going on right now in anything, as we've discussed. So I would avoid them. I would watch them. I don't know what kind of information you're gleaning from airlines. Personally, I don't get a lot from them. So
Lee said prison. What do we ask him that was the answer to? Because I trust Lee on his answers to our quips. In general, it's beginning to look a lot like "fuck you, Matt." And another thing that we were paying attention to was the bonds. Let's face it: if you're not paying attention to the bonds and you're trading anything, you're not doing all of your homework that you need to be doing.
Yeah,
and the bonds continue to tell a story that this run up to overnight in the stock market is not paying attention to.
Well, they did rally. Also, the bonds came off the lows, they made another new low on Sunday, down at 157.03, and we're talking the 30 years. And let me bring up a chart of that real quick, just so you can look at it. And again, it's right into the meat of kind of the range we've been in. We had a bracket way back here that we drew when it was stuck at 158. Now we're below that. So we're back into this range again. The lower end being right around 153, 152 and a half. We got up to, I think what was a high here? We got up to like 166s or some. So, and so now we're at 157. And yeah, I mean, short term, the closer in charts, Bob, you can see it's just, it's not pretty. I mean, it's just dripping off. It's not moving swiftly right now, up or down, but it's going down just slowly.
That is the key. The trend,
which means somebody's just got a book of it could be China. I mean, they're raising cash, right? So they're just like, we're dumping just every day, sells 2 billions worth. There is clearly a standing order that is just in control of this market right now, short term. And until it either is exasperated or runs out, and you'll know when you see a sharp rally, maybe to the, back to 159. If you're able to go up $2 and get to the meat of that, that would be a telling sign that maybe that seller has paused or is gone. But right now, I mean, we've been solidly going down, really. I would even say what it's been. We peaked in here, so we've been going down since July. So this is not a new trend. I mean, this is 3 or 4 months of going down. And the bottom end of this is around 155, and it's not doing it quickly because there's all kinds of, again, this area has taken on a lot of buyers and sellers over the last year, a lot of them. So it's got to work through that. But if it gets to a point where it gets below that 152, which is a ways away, we could be off to, and again, we've talked about it, we've been as low as 136s back here in 18. So why can't we go back there?
Of course we can go back there.
Right.
Of course we can. And that's, as traders, sometimes I mean, it's not out of the realm. That's the other thing too. It's like, no way, we're never going back. Oh yeah, okay.
And the balance,
just like Matt.
And the balance right now is, the point of control is somewhere right around 153. So that's this, this red line right here. So it could go back there. We're not far from it. And it's, again, very heavy, very bearish, very heavy. Interest rates are going higher regardless of whatever the chit chat is out of the Fed. So that continues, follow the money. The Fed is not as big as the bond market on its own. They need help. And they're, again, inflation is everywhere. We're seeing energy prices. Again, we traded 82 in oil overnight last night. That's a new high in this run. I think that's getting a little extended. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, to see a 5 to 10% correction. You're calling for 100. I'm calling for a pullback before you get to that move to 100. I don't see 100 anytime too soon. But again,
Yeah, and on that tack, I saw that it's amazing what money does, right? Right. Everybody's locked arm and in agreement until there's too much money involved. And then everybody goes their own way. And it was that Saudi Arabia has said to OPEC, yeah, well, okay, I know what we said, but we're going to deliver a lot more oil to 3 Asian countries because it's just too much money. How am I going to say no?
Right.
Matt, there's a documentary. There's a documentary called Bad Sport. And it's great, man. It goes over several different sporting shenanigans, from popping championship horses. I mean, seriously, I didn't even remember this. Killing horses for insurance money, to Olympic fixing of events back in 80 or 02 at Salt Lake. And it just made me think about people today thinking, no way is there any shenanigans going on with data and or science around COVID, because people are honest. And I'm like, seriously, with the amount of money that is getting thrown around, like, you don't think there's any shenanigans? Come on. I mean, where's your level-headed thought process? Everything's up and up and up. Did you see today? 2 senators from Oregon have filed lawsuit to the CDC and the FDA over non-verified third-party data that they're supplying to the country. Like, maybe that it's not the actual numbers, and they're filing lawsuit. Anyway, Matt, it's a fucking crazy world that we live in. The only thing you can do as a trader, though, is to fine-tune your trading methodology and stick with your system. And
Well,
Hopefully not end up in a China lodging facility with 80,000 other people. Thank you, Lee. China. I don't understand. Let me ask you, in the age of irony, I don't understand this. There's a huge problem in China with overbuilding real estate, right? So why do they need to build quarantine facilities when there apparently are several high-rise buildings with nobody living in them?
Well, because they play the Ponzi game better than anybody. The Chinese, fake money, fake buildings, they just throw it up there, act like they're super successful. And then when it all falls apart, they cry and blame it on somebody else. I mean, that's always been the way. Because when there's money involved, like you're saying, and they made the decision to do that, they can't be at fault. It's the system's fault after they've made that decision. And it's I
don't know what to think.
I don't know. It's the communist way. It's not a good
way. Matt, one of my favorite things about marrying a Canadian is that you get 2 Thanksgivings every year, right? Canadian Thanksgiving today. And I just want to end the show, Matt, with one of the great moments in sport in my family. Up in Canada for Canadian Thanksgiving with a bunch of my family, having a turkey bowl against the Canadians. And first half, it was light. It gets dark early. So the second half, we actually had to pull 4 or 5 cars and turn the headlights on to light up the field to finish the game. And we got to the point where it's all right, next touchdown wins, right? So we're like, we got the ball and we're, 3/4 of the way away from the touchdown, and it's 4th down. We're going to punt. We're supposedly going to punt. We play the old fumble Rooski, though. We snap the ball, turn around, drop it on the ground so it completely disappears in the grass, especially with the lighting of the headlights. Very hard to see. Then pretend like one of us has it, and everybody runs left. They all chase us. They grab the guy that they think has the football. Meanwhile, my son is just sitting there watching it, picks the ball up out of the grass, total diversion, runs, scores, ends the game. The game is still, and this has got to be 20 years ago, still under protest with the Canadian officials on several points of contention. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving to you, crazy Canucks. Please retake the sanity of your country back over. Please. And Matt, another great show.
By the way, we've fully reversed the open. It's 10 o'clock, and we went from 6:30. Let's see, we opened at 76, and 2.5 hours later, we are 3.5 hours later, we're back to 76. So went to what did we get up to? 44.0750. So up 30, down 30. Get used to it. Volatility is real. It's here. You got to be careful chasing when you're in an anti-momentum market. Sell when it goes up, buy when it goes down.
Rinse and repeat. All right, Matt, thank you so much. Listen, remember, it's beginning to look a lot like fuck you. Thank you, Chevy Chase. You made my weekend with that one, and I couldn't wait to share. And by the way, what's going on with Christmas songs? It's not even Thanksgiving. It's not even Halloween yet.
Not even Halloween, and they're already pushing out the Christmas songs for the season by the favored artists, whoever they may be. I was listening to some curated, I get a couple different curated weekly new music lists from Spotify, and they had multiple Christmas songs. And I was like, I'm like you, I can't listen to Christmas songs until it's Thanksgiving. That's the earliest for me. I draw the line.
After Thanksgiving.
An American Thanksgiving, not Canadian Thanksgiving.
Right on. Real Thanksgiving.
I mean, Canada why do they have a Thanksgiving?
They have Canadian Thanksgiving.
But why?
Because
they saw us having so much fun. Like when did that start?
No, it's because they waited 200 more years asking please for their independence, and so that's what they're celebrating. They're celebrating they're asking nicely. Thank you, Canada. All right, pal. Have a great day.
All right.